Hey, this is Firecracker on two wheels. If you didn't see my last video, I went out and bought a 2019 Harley Davidson Sport Glide from Pig Trail Harley Davidson in Arkansas. Today I'm riding it for the first time in Missouri since we hauled it home. I'm going to share with you my thoughts and compare my ride to my 2000 Harley Davidson Dyna. You should probably know before we get started that we've discovered my 2000 Dyna has been lowered. The shocks on it now are almost 2 inches shorter than the OEM length shocks. This probably explains why I feel like it rides rough and jars my neck. I love the looks of my purple Dyna, and it sounds amazing with Vance & Hines short shot exhaust. But without cruise control, I find my wrist hurting sometimes, which seems to be the lasting effects from my motorcycle accident 2 years ago. Because of that, I really wanted a bike that had cruise control. I know it can be added to several of the Softails, but I like the fact that the Sport Glide has it factory and has 4 controls, which is something else I really wanted on my next motorcycle. The fact that it has ABS standard is also a bonus, especially after having a motorcycle accident where I didn't feel like I could really apply the brakes without the wheels locking up due to the road conditions, but that's another story. It's early March here in the Ozarks, and luckily we had a pretty warm 60-degree day, so we decided to get out and do my first ride. The Sport Glide has an aftermarket trunk on it, and we thought about taking it off because it's actually very windy today, and I didn't know if it would make it harder for me to manage the motorcycle, but we decided to leave it on and see how I do. I don't have a motovlogging setup with a mic and everything on this motorcycle, and I'm not sure I really even want to do that. So for now, I'm just going to go back and share my thoughts from this ride. The first thing that really struck me was how much more touchy the brakes felt. And I don't mean that in a bad way. There's just much better performance from these brakes than I'm used to on my Dyna. In the past, when I've been following Mike and he's had to put the brakes on suddenly, I wasn't able to stop as quickly as he was. I feel much more confident in my ability to stop this bike quicker already based on the way the brakes feel. What I really noticed is the smoothness, not just that the motor doesn't vibrate as much as my old bike, but the suspension is better, and it feels like the bike glides around corners and while making tight turns in town. Compared to my Dyna, I don't feel like when I hit a bump, I am getting lifted off the seat or that my neck is getting jarred. I definitely feel that this bike has better suspension and rides a lot better. I know that this bike is heavier and has a trunk, but I didn't feel like the wind pushed me around as much as my Dyna, which makes me happy because I feel more confident about leaving the trunk on so I can carry more things on the bike, especially when we go on trips to Stubborn American Rally or Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. I didn't test the cruise control out on this day because we decided not to get on the interstate because the wind was gusting so bad. I am really excited and glad that I made this purchase, and I plan to ride more often now that I bought my 2019 Sport Glide, which rides as smooth as butter. This bike didn't come with crash bars, but we have already ordered those and will be doing an install of those very soon. We ordered the rear crash bars to protect the saddlebags, but those are going to take 6 to 8 weeks as they are coming from overseas. For those of you that have been asking about the trunk, I'm going to try and get a video done on that this month. I want to thank everybody for the comments about floorboards and other mods that they would recommend for the Sport Glide. My next purchase will be the floorboards when I can afford them and when I find one that I want. For those of you that have been asking about the trunk, I'm going to try and get a video done on that this month. I want to thank everybody for the comments about floorboards and other mods that they would recommend for the Sport Glide. My next purchase will be the floorboards when I can afford them and when I find the ones I want. I hope you enjoyed my video on my first ride on my 2019 Sport Glide. If you enjoyed my video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and we'll see you in the next one.